Now that I have shown you how Pathfinder panel logos work, we're going to use them on a logo type logo and cut an image out of the word. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to File and Open. Since I've started an Illustrator file, we want to open it and continue working on it. And right here, I will find my Chapter 7 folder and 7.2, Carolina Reaper Pathfinders. We'll open up this file right here. Okay, so what you can see is the way I have set this up is I'm going to strip off all my layers right here. I have my Reaper. I want to make kind of a bottle logo for this hot sauce. Okay, we have the Reaper outlines, just the outline of the word. Then we've got a layer, draw your Reaper flames. So it's empty right now because that's what we're going to use to draw. We have the Carolina. So that text is good as it is. And then we have our flames. We want these flames to show up inside the word Reaper. Okay, so here's the important part. We have this layer called Reaper outlines, not the Reaper flames, but a layer just for these bold outlines. We need a copy of this word just for the flames that will go inside the word. Okay, very important. So I'm going to take this entire layer, Reaper outlines. I'll click the pop-up. And I will say on the third option down, duplicate the Reaper outlines. This is going to give me a duplicate or an exact copy of the word Reaper one more time. Duplicate it. Okay, your outlines copy should be underneath the outline. So you click right here. And like I've shown you before, if you want to move a layer, you drag it down and you make sure you're on the thin blue line. Okay, so what's the point of having another copy of the word Reaper when you're going to draw your flames on a totally different layer? So here's what we have to do. On the right, all the way to the right, is this little circle. It's called your target. When I click on that target, it selects everything on this layer, the entire word Reaper. I don't need a copy on a separate layer. I need a copy of the word Reaper on the layer where I'm going to draw the flames. So if you have artwork on a layer and it's on the wrong layer, take this target. I've clicked to select everything on this layer and I just move that target down. See, now they have blue anchor points because they're on the layer called Draw Your Reaper Flames. And as I've shown you before, when you click outside, if a layer has nothing there, there's nothing on that layer. So I accidentally duplicated when I didn't really need to duplicate, which is fine. Illustrator is very flexible. I can now take a blank layer and throw it in the trash. Okay, what I want to do is really focus on the flame. So I'm going to turn off the Reaper photo. I'm going to turn off the outlines. And I'm going to turn off the Carolina. So I just focus on this word. Okay, we don't need bold outlines again. So I'm going to select the word Reaper and hit D. D for default colors, just resets everything. I don't need the letters filled with white because I can't see the flame, so I'll click on white and hit the question mark key. Now when I zoom in, I'm going to draw 3 sets of lines all the way across the word Reaper. So with my pen tool, I don't need Smart Guides anymore. View, turn off Smart Guides. View, turn off Snap to Point. And I'm going to start just outside the word. Click and drag down right there. Option or Alt key for a corner and I'll go up. Option or Alt key for a corner and I'll go down. And I'm just going to make a bunch of sharp corners. Option or Alt key to go up and up. Option or Alt key to come back down. And we'll go just slightly above the edge right there. Option or Alt key to go up. Option or Alt key to go down. Option or Alt key. And I'm just going to keep saying that for every corner. Option or Alt key. And we'll go down. Option or Alt key. And we'll go back up. Option or Alt key. And I'm going to keep going all the way across this yellow edge. Okay. I'm just holding Option or Alt key at the beginning of every curve, like right there, not at the end. Option or Alt key at the beginning, not at the end. Option or Alt key at the beginning, not at the end. You get the idea. I can hold my space bar and move this over, and I'm just going to take a minute here to draw all these flame curves right here. You don't have to be perfect with them. Okay, if I see the tip of the flame ends there, maybe I'll push it into the letter a little bit more, just so I can see it. I don't want to cut right on the edge, so I'll just go like that so I can see a little bit of the flame in the letter P. Okay, just deviate a little bit if you want, just so I can see these flames a little better. I might make a flame a little larger right there. I might make it go way down outside the letter. You get the idea. These yellow flames are there to kind of show me where I generally want flames. See, I can deviate from a scan a little bit. It's no big deal. I might want to show the point over here so I get a little more flame inside the letter. We'll go a little more down. Then I'll go a little higher so I can show a little bit more flame inside that letter. Hold my space bar and drag it over. Okay, same thing here. I'm going to go outside and then inside. Option or Alt key, and we'll go down like that so I can see a little more flame inside the letter. Maybe I'll go up into that opening and then down and down and then back up. Like I said, scans are general areas to show you where you want to draw, but you don't have to trace them exactly the way they appear. And then when I end, I'll end outside the word like that. So now if I zoom out, Option or Alt click with the zoom tool, you can see what I did here. Let me turn off my scan for a second. I started outside the word and cut all the way across and ended outside the word. I'm going to do that for each color. I'll just zoom back in and I'll do the same thing for the orange flames. Okay, here's draw your Reaper flames. I'll start outside, just cut right here, then I'll go up, and then I'll go in, and I'm going to spend a couple minutes drawing this line of flames. Just like I did the yellow. We need 3 lines of flames. One for the yellow, in this case one for the orange, and then I'll do one more along the bottom for the red flames. But take a couple of minutes, like I'm doing here, and draw all your lines for the orange flames. So just keep cutting across, space bar to move that over. So I can see a few more flames here. And we'll just keep forging ahead like that. And even if it doesn't go in the letter, I'm just going to continue drawing like that because I need pen tool practice anyway. It's always good. Draw every day. People always ask me, how'd you get so good with this pen tool? Like, I'm obsessed with drawing. I draw every day. It's not that I'm practicing drawing. I just draw and I just don't tell myself it's practice. I just draw because I like to. Nobody needs to tell me sit down at Illustrator and do something. I just sit down at Illustrator and I do it anyway, just because I love it. Okay, and we'll go around here, and then we'll go right there. Space bar to move it with the hand tool. And we're going to have some really, really flaming hot Reaper type here in a few minutes when we're done with the orange and the red. So I'll make that flame go up a little higher into the E, a little lower right there. Pop out. And we'll go across the R. I know it's a lot of work, but we want to sell a lot of Reaper hot sauce. So we got to make this really look hot. As if people don't know a Carolina Reaper will burn your mouth apart. But we want to show, hey, if you eat it, your mouth's going to feel like it's on fire. So we stylize flames. All right, now that I'm outside the R, I go way over there. Command click on my Mac or control click on a PC. Space bar for the hand tool, and I'll pull these all back over again. And I'll start again. Now again, I want to draw just one long continuous line for the reds. So I'll start out here. I'll click and drag up to there. And then I'll just go down and up, down, and I could do the same thing. Hold Option key instead of making weird curves. Just go up here. Option or Alt for every corner. Like that. Up there. And I'll just come down like this. Option, go up. Option, go down. Option, go up. Option, come down. Or again, Alt key on your PCs. So if you don't see it at the bottom, just go to the bottom down there. Option or Alt key for a corner and come back up. So take a few minutes. Draw the line of all the red flames. It's easier if you just keep it going as one long continuous line like we did with the yellow and we did with the orange. I'm now doing with the red just so we can be consistent here. Maybe we'll end that right there instead of coming too far down. Go back up, come back down. And if there's a wide enough gap, that's not even going to show at all. So I'll just skip over to there. Option or Alt key for a corner. We'll go up and down and up and down and up. And we'll come back down. Go back up. Come back down. And none of this is going to show underneath the letter P, so I'll just skip over to here. And then I'll continue drawing my flame, maybe inside the letter, a little more like that. Go down, and then back up. Come back down. Go back up. Maybe I'll come down further like that, and then go way back up further like that. Again, templates are there as a general guide to show you where to draw. You don't have to trace it exactly. This isn't showing up inside the letters, so I'll just skip over to here and continue with my line of flames right here. Go up there, come back down. That's not showing up in the letter either, so we'll jump over to there and continue up into the final parts of these letters right here and end outside. I'll take the zoom tool, Option or Alt click on your PC to zoom out like that, space bar to move it over, and now with my black arrow, I'm going to select everything. I come right up here on the bottom left corner, divide the word Reaper, click, Object menu, ungroup. Now when I click outside, I need to create all my flames. So I'm going to click and drag right across the top right there. And since there's no flames there, let's just make those white. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to click and drag across like this. So all the top edges are filled. Okay, now I hold my Shift key and I click and drag to deselect the top and then select the yellow right there. See, the top has been deselected. Now I've selected the middle section of yellow. I'll take my eyedropper and we'll click on yellow. Of course, that gets rid of the outlines and I don't want to do that. So let's go to Edit, Undo. And instead of using my eyedropper, I'll just go to my swatches and let's pick a shade of yellow right there. Okay, that's only 90% here on my color panel. So let's take the cyan out. Let's take the yellow to 100%. There we go. Now I click outside. And now I'm going to zoom in. Okay, notice what it did here. It filled the opening yellow. I don't want that. So I'm going to click on that part, delete it. Click on that part, delete it. Click on this part outside the letters. You can see it right here. I don't need that. I don't need that part outside in between the letters. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. And I don't need that. I just keep the flames inside the letters. I don't need that going outside the letter E. I don't need this going outside right there. See if I can get that. There we go. That little piece right there. All right. Don't need the opening. Click, delete, click and delete, click and delete, click and delete. And those look good. All right. Now I need the second part. So I'm going to click right there. Shift click, shift click, shift click, shift click, shift click, shift click. And you can see those are going to be orange like that. Okay, and I'll just keep going. Click, shift click, and those will be orange. Oops, right there. Now I can kind of see what's missing. Click on the bottom, shift click, 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 shift click. Hold my space bar and move it over. Shift click, shift click, shift click. Whoops. Accidentally got the orange, so I'll shift click it again to turn it off. Shift click right on the edge there. Shift click, shift click, shift click, shift click, shift click, and shift click. And we'll make those red. Now I can see on my letters I missed a few spots. So this should be coming down and this should be white like the rest of that. So I'll click right there, take my eyedropper and sample white. Let's come over here. This right there, that tiny little triangle. Shift click that tiny little triangle. Oops. I got to zoom in a little closer here for details because those spaces are so small. Click that tiny triangle. Shift that tiny triangle, and those should be the yellow flames. There we go. Click this little tiny triangle. That should be the orange flames coming up. So I'll eyedrop that orange. This should be the white of the letter. Shift click right there. I take my eyedropper and sample white. And because I zoomed in, I can see a tiny little blotch of yellow right there that's outside of the letter. I delete it. Backspace it. So now I pretty much have all my colors. There's a little blob of color right there. That should be white. Okay, you just don't see the white yet because the outline is really thick. But here's what you do. Okay, when I hold Option or Alt key and I zoom back out, got everything colored the way it should be. Except this right down here. That should be the yellow flames because the whole middle section above the orange should be yellow. So I take my black arrow, click, shift click, and I'll take my eyedropper and sample yellow. There we go. Now I've got everything colored the way it should be. I'll take my zoom tool, Option or Alt click to zoom out so I can see the entire word. And the flames should not have outlines. Okay, it's this layer that has the outlines, not the flames. So I'm going to select everything here. Click on the flames or the outlines. And you'll notice before I do that, look at these little pieces that aren't even part of the letters anymore. Okay, I don't see them, but there's some weird shapes floating around down here. So in order to clean up everything, I go to View, Outline. Now I can see all these pieces, like right underneath the letter R. Are those two shapes? Delete them. This little shape, delete it. Those shapes, delete them. Those shapes, if they're outside, like under the letter, delete it. If they're under the letter, delete it. If it's under the letter, delete it. Under the letter, delete it. Under the letter, delete it. Under the letter P, delete it. Delete it. Under the letter E, delete those. Under the letter R, delete those. And now we have just our letters. Look at this. There's a shape right inside between these two stems of the E. Delete it. So I should see, oh, there's another shape outside the letter E. There's another shape outside the letter E. There's another shape outside the letter E. Now everything is cleaned up. Oops, there's another shape outside the letter R. Now I think everything has been cleaned up. It's looking good. View, Preview. Select everything, click on the stroke, and hit the question mark key. No outlines on the flames layer. So that's what you have. Yellow, orange, and red, and the upper halves are all white. Now I turn on the Carolina. Now I turn on the outlines. And now I turn on the Reaper. And there we go. Okay, if you don't want the upper part to be white, you can click, because that looks like it's unfinished now. I click, and all I have to do is go to Select menu, select everything with the same fill color of white. I click on the fill, and maybe we make that just a very, very, very light yellow right there. So it has just a little bit of color to it. There we go. I'll click outside. Now my letters look nice and solid. The word Reaper is on fire. I don't need my scan anymore, so I'll trash that. I can unlock all my layers. And now we've got a nice flaming logo representing the heat of the Carolina Reaper by using the Divide Pathfinder to divide these letters into different sections or strips of color. You have the Reaper right there, Carolina right there, your outlines covering your flames, and everything comes together. All right. Hope you had a really hot time getting that logo done. That was embarrassing. All right. Save it. File menu. Save as. Last name, first name, Reaper logo. On my desktop as an Illustrator file. And I'll save it. I'll see you next time. Stay hot.